right, hey guys, Sam here with you on Thursday, June 28th. And we pulled our members, and today we look at traditional assets here. First up, I've got gold here, so I've got the XAU to the USD. I've got an 8-hour here. Now, I've shown that we've looked at gold before, right? And I've shown this many times that we can see how perfectly technical this has traded, if I get that right on. So here's our 50, algo, back down, algo again, classic double top. Then we come back down again. It's not quite, well, actually, here you get the two taps here of the algo target, comes back down, and then we get the second algo target. And this whole area up here clearly is, supply, right? So market gets up here into these, 1360 to 1370 range, and we sell off. And now, as we sit here looking at it, we're, fair to say we're just sitting, well, exactly, we're halfway in the middle of it. So we've got a demand zone here, we got a supply zone up here. Where's gold going? Well, I don't even know that we need to dig out the count here. What's happening over here? Historically, we've got a top here, I've got a swing low to a swing high, and I'm sitting at 50%. So a correction of sorts. Here we can see we did finish with this diagonal, so some sort of a double top up here to top it out. So just looking as we come down here, we can get 5 very clear. So let me go from, let's take it down. No, I'll go to an hourly here. Very clear look at it here coming down. So here's that diagonal that we see that finishes it, right? So from right here, and it's deep, these are deep swings here as we get, so looking for this here. So we're wicking through the 618, shy of the algo target. So it's not perfect, right? The one was very deep. We get the second target here, but typically in a diagonal, you want to look for some relationship between the start of the 1 to the 3 and the 4. So this is, it's stop running likely. That's what's happening there. So stops are getting pushed. And then we get a rip up here, but it comes shy of the algo target. So in general, just sloppy. It's sloppy trading is the only way to classify it. But we can still get our arms around it here. So coming down, I've got pretty nice structure here. So I've got 1, 2. This looks like that would have to be 3, 4. This would be our A here. So we've got a clean 5 in our A wave. Let's take that up a degree. And guess we can go to minuet here, and then we get a little 3-wave B, so it's shallow, relatively speaking. So if I grab my pivot up here, down to my A low, well, that's shallow for a B, no question about it. Between the 23 and 36, I do have the subdivision that I want to see here as I come down here and finish it this way. We go here, and we'll take that down. Okay, so I've got a little ABC, and now I'm coming down here. So here's, we've tapped the algo target, but that's unusual. That could be coincidental here, because as I doubt their algos are well, actually, let me just look. So here from this 4, they don't care about an Elliott count. So there's right to the 618, and now we're going to the 3rd. So, all right, so sometimes you got to check these pivots. I remember, as I will remind you, an algo does not care if this is a 3, 4, ABC. It doesn't care, just working off of swing. So swing high, swing low. We tap the 618 and then rip down. So breaking this out, let's think about where we could be here. So this we're to and through target. We're going now. We've got through the second target here. So we're getting a little bit of a confluence zone here. So we've got the 3rd, we've got the 50 of the all the way from swing low to swing high, and we've got the 100, which would be the 3rd, the extreme algo target here. So we're getting a little cluster. Now coming down here, ABC. So let's think about what we might additionally have here. So if I bring this down, so looking for, I'm going to take that off for the time being. Okay, so looking for a relationship from that pivot to my A to my B pivot here. Well, I'm kind of in no man's land. Here's my 618. So I had a little cluster here. Now this is kind of wide here. That's too big a zone, but it's certainly something to be paying attention to. So what else? That's not enough. There's not enough here to build a case to be a buyer. So I'm going to pull back out here a little bit. Let me go to a 3-hour here so we can see this. Can I get it on a 3? I may not. Let's go all the way back. I got to go back to the 8 so I can get it from that low. All right, so again, back to where I started here, from absolute swing low to, we'll have to go to this high. Well, let's check this twice. Let's check this 2 ways. So let's check here to this pivot. Okay, so this is 2016 swing low. That was the important pivot. We saw how technical that was, and we got all of our swings here. So looking at this now, now we draw it, and we've got this little cluster here. So we've got this first little hot box down here where I'm at the 50, where I've got confluence between the 50 of the swing low, swing high, and then I've got my 100% here as a reasonable candidate. Now just looking left here, you know, we have this last swing down here, so you know that's not enough for me to suggest that would hold it. So I need more data, more evidence to build a case for a trade. It's tempting to want to buy it just off the 50. Now, given 3 swings here, I can check for any market geometry here if I can get this to go hot for me. Okay, so from that swing low, or swing high, swing low, we go all the way to it. Well, that kind of gets my attention. So we're coming right to the median line as we're tapping the 50. So, you know, that's a toughie, right? So you're buying the falling knife. So, of course, the more conservative approach would be wait, see if we get a pivot, and then take the first retrace looking for something like that. That's the safer way to do it, rather than try and buy the falling knife, or grab the falling knife, if you will. So you've got some good evidence here, but you know, why take the risk? Why gamble on it? You're trying to pick the low. You know, we're coming from 1367 down to 1245. I don't know that I would be jumping on that. Anything in the oscillators here? Well, we're deeply oversold on the RSI. We don't have classic divergence here, so there's not enough to just be a buyer off the 50. Now, if for whatever reasons that you might have, that you're very bullish on gold longer term, you know, you might take a bite at it there, but I'd be tight on the stop. I wouldn't give it below this pivot, because that will be a logical push. Get right on that pivot. That'll be a logical push for stop running. So can they get it down here? And then we have this other little cluster down here that we can't ignore. Here's, we've got the 618. Here would be our 100. Here's our 1272. So we've got the 1618 from this pivot. So I'm getting a double cluster here. Now this has the advantage of having the median line right there. So we need to see a reaction off of that. We're just tapping the 50 as we sit here. Now going back down to let's go back to that hourly. See if we can pick apart this last drive down here. Certainly it's got subdivision here, so it looks pretty. Well, let's see. I don't know if I can get a third to work there. So if I'm coming, if this is my 1, that's going to be tricky. Let's see what we get here. So 1, if that's 1 and that's 2, so 3. Not likely here, even though it's technical. You can just look at this and say 1 and 5 are longer than 3, so it can't be that. So this could only be let's think this through here. So this has got to be 1, 2, 3 is still going in. So we'd be looking for 3, 4, 5, which implies, again, as I suggested here, that it may be too soon to just be buying off of the fact that we're approaching the 50. Yeah, well, trying to think, is there something else we might be missing here? If that's my B, yeah, it's a tough one here. So this would have to be 1. Is we don't have a retracement deep enough here. We can't call this 1, 2. Well, I guess we could go 1, 2, 1, 2, but this doesn't break apart. Let's see if I go down. Let's see if I can get any subdivision here that might work better. It just doesn't look great. So I'd have to be 1, very shallow, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would give me my 1. There's the 2. We're trying to get a 3 here. 1, 2, 3. That would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I've got subdivision here, so I can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But you know, that's likely. So already 1 is longer than 3. So that's, again, so it creates enough doubt to where you have to pause and say, well, you know, given that doubt, do I want to put capital at risk here? Is that a reasonable place to be putting money at risk? Now, I may finish this here. Now, remember, third doesn't have to be the longest. It just can't be the shortest. So let me take that up a degree. We'll change the color here. We'll go to we'll go to micro here. All right, so 1, 2. I've got 5 in here, and I don't know. I don't have enough data to tell me that that's finished, so that could still be going. If I think about logical locations there, so if I've got 1, 2, let's measure it out. So if that's 1, if we consider that 1, that's 2. Well, here's my 100 down here. So if that's going to go this way, it's pushing us all down to this second cluster down here. So upon giving it some more detailed analysis here, this would appear to be 1, 2, and some sort of an impulse is going in here. I'd be surprised if that were to pivot there, because we'd be looking at, we'd have to have a very short 4, 5, 3, 4, 5. So this would have to be. So how would we know? Well, we'd measure. If that's going to be, if this, as we approach the 50 here, if that's going to be our third, and of course we don't know, but let's just place to wick it off. So if that were to be my third, and I came up here for a 4 at the 38, not overlapping here, looking down here, so this would be, we'd have to finish it like that. So there would be 100%. So it would have to be shorter than the third. So the 1 would be the extension. 3 would be, we've got an impulse here for the 3, although we don't know if that's pivot, if we've got a pivot there, but we're approaching a logical point for it. Need the retrace. This is just hypothetical. I don't know where that 4 is going to be. But I can certainly look at this as a potential resistance zone here, and then thinking, well, where could it go? Well, if that's my 3, again, don't know that it is, but if that were my 3, my 4 was here, let's call the 38, so textbook. 1, 2, 3, 4 can't go below this, because then 5 would be longer than third. So that would be something to wick off there, so that you're paying attention to that, because if it keeps going down, we'd have to reconsider the count unless we pivot right there. That would be a pivot kind of in no man's land between the 50 and the 618. So there's enough doubt there to where if you're not in it, I don't know that I'd be looking to try and get long here. I want more information. More information. That's again, there's just too many risk factors there to try and, you know, catch the pivot here. There's just no reason to do it. Too much risk, in my view, right? So if you're already short, well, good for you. If you're looking for a new long, I'd be patient here. Just not enough there. But certainly something to be watching here. This is the level I'd be watching. All right, so taking that all the way back here to my 4 hour here, this looks like something we want to pay attention to. And then, of course, we could just we've got a steep channel coming down here. So any break of that might get our attention. So one to be watching. I definitely want to look for the long side, but not until I get more confirmation of where we are. All right, guys, I'll wrap it there. Don't forget to give us a visit on our website if you're interested in learning some of this methodology and how to apply it yourself. You can find us at tradedevils.com. And we always appreciate it if you'll follow us on Twitter. We interact with our Twitter followers on a regular basis, and many times we'll offer up to you the option to vote on what gets a video analysis. All right, we're on Twitter at Trade Devils. Handle is Trade Devils. All right, guys, talk to you later.